Welcome. Thank you for joining me. It's Seek and You Will Find Night. Let's get started with some healings. I'm going to go ahead and start off the night with a healing of my request, something that I've been looking at for the last couple of days that I'd like a clearing on. So I thought I'd do it for everyone, and that is the energy of responsibility. So I'm going to work on responsibility for everybody first, and then we'll get to your guys' questions. Let me go back to the chat. I have a couple of text questions, but I don't see any questions in the chat bar. So if you have some questions and requests for healings, go ahead and put them in the chat bar, please. All right, I'm going to set the energy for the session with a prayer, and then I'll get started with a responsibility healing. As we cleanse and heal the temple of the soul, may it be with the blessing of divinity that it shine its countenance upon us and bring us peace in body, mind, and spirit. Amen. Okay, let's take a look at where responsibility is impacting everyone. The most dominant part of responsibility energy that I see, or its impact, is in preventing you from taking next steps. And some of the energy goes, it's like a streak that goes from the face all the way down into one leg. And I notice the energy in the leg is like a stop energy. I'm going to start with this first. It's very grainy and gritty, dark energy. And it looks to me like it's gotten, well, it's in the energy channels of the legs. And largely what I wanted to address in this responsibility healing is the responsibility energy that you have that, wait, let me say this over. Out of all the things that you feel responsible for, really only a very, very small percent is something that you really are responsible for. What I see a lot of is people taking on the responsibility of others. I know I have a lot of moms in the sanctuary, and I see that as kind of a common behavioral habit, I guess I'll call it, where you take on the responsibility of what is rightfully maybe your children's responsibilities or your husband's responsibilities. And it's not just moms, I'm just giving that as an example. The responsibility energy that I'm looking for and wanting to clear is that which is not really yours, that you feel compelled to be responsible for. Good. More of this grainy, gritty energy is being released, and now it's being released from the chest area. And what's coming out, which is really interesting to me, is a lot of the energy of I have something I want to say. I shouldn't probably say it, but it's like the energy of shit jobs that you've had to do because you've been programmed to be responsible for somebody else. Now that's the kind of energy I want to get out. So that's what I'm looking at. Good. All that energy is coming out. That was kind of a white, um, like a white putty colored energy. All right. Boy, I'll tell you, there is a lot. It's still coming out, but there is a lot of programmed responsibility in everybody's space. I'm just watching it release. I'm going to start filling you in with gold. So, the whole point of programming you to be responsible is to get you to be accountable for something that you're really not accountable for. And that's what this clearing was on, was getting rid of all of that energy that you think that you are accountable for. So, let me fill that in with gold. That's much better. Okay, great. Now I'm going to start in on your guys' requests, and I have a couple already here. Um, this is my first one. I need a healing to help me move forward. I mean, I'm okay, not lacking anything, but like the song from the 60s says, is that all there is? I feel I'm going in circles and finding myself back at almost the same place in life for months. I've also been having unusual dreams, friends, family, alive and from the other side. I am in the dreams with them, not afraid, just puzzled. Okay, thank you for that. So you need to have energy cleared so that you can move forward. All right, thank you for that request. I'm going to take a look at this for you. I'm looking at an energy in your space that keeps you a little frozen, and it has to do with not wanting to take risks. It's a yellow white energy, and it's kind of swirled all around you. But I would say it's fear of taking risks. And so that fear of taking risks keeps you very immobile, because no matter which way you go, you hit that fear of, oh, that's going to be a risk. That's going to be a risk. So let me help you clear that. Good. It's coming out. And then you also had some white energy in your leg channels that was gumming them up. So that also was affecting your ability to take next steps. So I'm going to give you a little clearing on your next steps. And actually, um, giving you a clearing on your next step helped me see part of why you feel immobilized or why you're having trouble moving forward is your creative energy is not running properly. So I'm just going to give you a grounding on that. I see you at a point where you really want to be a lot more creative. So there's this beautiful, what would I call that? It's kind of like an apricot gold energy of your creative energy that's coming in. And I want to help you get that moving throughout your whole body. Okay, good. Ooh, you cleaned up nicely. I'm going to fill you in with the gold sun, and then I'm going to give a healing to everybody on their next steps. Yeah, you brought in a lot of apricot gold. It looks really good. Okay, I'm going to say hello to everyone and any energy affecting your ability to take your next step. Well, there's a lot of competition that comes in. It's a puffy white energy, other people competing with you. That's what I mean, not your competition. And I'm seeing some similar things in everybody's space. Fear, although it's more fear of change than anything else. Yeah, two things, fear of change and fear of failure. That's what I'm cleaning out. That's nice. There's a beautiful spring green coming in with some information on your next step. And a lot of gold is being brought in. Good. All right. I have another request here. If you'll just give me a moment. Oh, good. I've got a bunch. Here we go. I have a question about my work. There are global issues affecting my workspace. We have supply and labor shortages, which don't allow me to sell my product. I created a picture of how much money I wanted to make this year with my company. Is that still possible? Yes, that is still possible. There might be one change to your mock-up that I might suggest, and that is take your business out of the mock-up. And the reason I say that is because you're interested in making a set amount of money, and you don't have to worry about how. You're just doing your mock-up. However, if you limit it to that money just coming through one distribution channel, you're limiting your options. So if you take your company out of the picture and just say, this is how much money I want to make this year, and make that your mock-up, if you're willing to have it come through other streams, perhaps, I mean, and I'm not even going to try to imagine what those other streams might be. That's why we leave the hows out. But I'm going to go ahead and say hello to your mock-up and ground it. But that's what I might consider doing, is instead of saying I want to make that money through my company, I just want to make that amount of money in the year. And then that way it opens you up to a multitude of other opportunities how that money could get to you. And I love this question because it's really about mock-ups. And I do want to just remind everybody, that when you do your mock-up, you don't have to worry about how. Now, that being said, if the requester of this takes their company out of that mock-up picture, there's still a high percentage that the money that's coming to you is still going to come through that one doorway, because that's, let's say that's your receiving doorway that you're comfortable receiving through. So you probably already have that set up on an energy level. You bring the money in through that doorway so it comes in easily. But just be open to the idea of having other doorways open for that money to come to you. Okay, now I'm going to do a healing on that. And then I'm going to do a healing on everybody, since this has to do with money, on everybody's money space. So this first healing is for the requester. What I see in your mock-up is some of your management above you in your company that is in competition with your money mock-ups. So you're getting competition from above, and it's a gray energy, like a whale gray. I'm going to clear that out for you. Yeah, when I move that competition from the management out, there's a really beautiful, well, I should say really beautiful sunset colors, like yellows and oranges and golds underneath that. And that's your mock-up. Those are the colors that I see in your mock-up. And don't misunderstand me in that I'm not saying you can't bring the dollar amount that you're mocking up for the year through your company. I'm just saying open up some other doorways so that you have multiple ways of bringing that money to you. Okay, I'm going to fill you in with gold. And honestly, that cleared really quickly. So you're doing a good job holding that mock-up, or I should say holding the picture of that mock-up. Okay, now I'm going to give everybody a healing on their money. There's a lot of anger in the money space, and that could be many things. Could be people angry. You could be angry with your own money space, could be anger being thrown at your money. But that's one of the most dominant energies that I'm looking at tonight. So I'm going to start clearing that. And then I also want to take out the seriousness of your money space. Like when I look at it, there's not a lot of permission for fun and play with your money. It's very serious, and there's a lot of pessimism about it. So I'm going to clear that out. Well, what's great is when I clear out that pessimism, creative energy comes in immediately. There's also a really strong energy. It's a silver color of other people wanting your money. And so I'm going to get that out. So like the demand for your money, I want to take that out. So there's two things that I want to do as I fill in the money space. One is expansion, like expand your money space. Okay. I was widening it to open it up for you. And then I'm filling it in with um, enjoyment, the enjoyment of your money. Okay, very good. Let me go to my next one. And thank you for that. Okay, can you help me? Can you help me with the pressure and discomfort I feel on my tailbone? I'm looking at the energy around your tailbone. There is a thick white energy that's starting to move. There's some inflammation that I can ground. Your tailbone looks very curled under to me. That's what it looks like, is that it's curled under, almost like a hook. I have my psychic surgeon working on your tailbone, and he's kind of got his fingers around the bottom part of like the coccyx, and is like working between the bones. I'm kind of watching him do this thing with his fingers going up your tailbone. He's showing me energy that's coming out from like years ago. Uh, like when your children were young. I don't know if that might be the result of a pregnancy, of a birth, what happened to the tailbone, but that's what he's showing me. And he's starting to bring in some really bright yellow gold into the actual bone. Okay, let's try that on for size. I'm going to fill you in with gold and see if that helps. There's one more thing I was going to do, and that's that, like, your because that tailbone is in so much pain, your pelvis is a little locked. So I just wanted to say hello to that. Okay, good. I'm going to fill you in with a gold sun. There you go. Thank you for that request. I hope that helps. Okay. I have a request for tonight's healing. Can you give a healing to my relationship space, please? Yes, absolutely. Okay. And I'm going to give the requester a healing to their relationship space, and then I'm going to work on everybody's relationship space. There, when I do the healing, what comes up is either a debate or questioning about the division of jobs or the division of tasks. Maybe is what I should say. That seems to be some of the energy that's coming out. And the other thing that I'm doing is taking the children out of your relationship space. Good. Everybody was very clustered together, and so by separating everyone, that gave everybody some breathing room. And then I'm going to ask Supreme Being to give your relationship space a healing and fill it in with compassion and understanding. There's a really pretty, smooth, cool green blue coming into your relationship space, and the energy's calming down. And that looks so much better. Okay, I'm going to fill you in with gold sun. And that communication line in your relationship space was brought up to gold as well. Okay, good job. I'm going to give everybody a relationship healing. Let's take a look at what's going on with everyone's relationship space. And there's a lot of darker, heavy energy in the relationship space. And the thing that I get a sense of right away is how poorly everybody feels in their relationship space, how it's not really necessarily a happy place. So I'm going to do a little healing work here. And I am seeing something similar to the requester's relationship space, in that when everybody is in each other's space, you don't really have your autonomy. You can't really think for yourself. It's hard to have an idea for yourself. And so what I'm doing is basically pulling everybody apart so that you have your own individual space. And it makes such a big difference. Separating everybody in the relationship space is bringing in this beautiful medium sky blue. The energy's changing right away. There's depression coming out of the relationship space. There, that looks really good. There's a pretty green coming into that blue green too. So it's like blue green, but with more green coming in, and yellow gold. I'm going to fill you in with a gold sun. All right, very good. Let me go to the next question. I've been very stuck in procrastination lately, having a hard time approaching tasks that might not be the most pleasant, but I need to get done. Can you help clear any of the energy of procrastination and avoidance? Okay. There's also a request, the same person, to work on the eye. So I'm going to work on both the procrastination and the eye, and then I'm going to work on everybody's procrastination afterwards. All right. So with your procrastination, it is a wall of pain. And I'm just going to start grounding it and clearing it. But it is like a wall of pain that you face when you go to have to do these tasks. So let's see if we can get that out of there. And you know, some of this stuff in the wall of pain that I'm looking at is some of it is you dogging yourself, and that goes back about 2 years, kind of down on yourself. That's starting to move out. It's very thick, and it's white, it's brown, it's gray. Okay, it's about half done. I also see your sister's energy, but and I'm saying sisters plural energy in your procrastination space. And I don't think it's their procrastination. I think it's their competition in your space that's causing you to procrastinate to a certain extent. Okay, that looks good. That looks a lot better. I got rid of the wall, the wall of pain. It's down to like the last part, and I know like the very bottom part, but I know you're going to be working on that and probably continuing to clear everything tonight. I'm going to say hello to your eye. And I'm grounding it. There's still that irritation in it. I can see it still. Okay, I got a little bit more of the inflammation out of your eye, and it's getting better. I just can still see a little element of what the initial issue was. So I've got it cleared to what it will clear right now tonight. But if you want to call me in the morning, um, please do, because we may need to talk about this outside of Seek and You Will Find. I'm going to fill that in with gold. Okay, good. Thank you for that request, because now I'm going to work on everybody's procrastination. That's assuming that you might procrastinate. Let's take a look. So the first energy I see here is the anger of not wanting to do certain things, like procrastinating on things that you just plain old don't want to do. So there's a lot of anger about, I don't want to have to do that. And because I'm looking at a lot of people's procrastination, seriously, it looks like one big log jam. There's so much energy just blocking you. So that's what I'm working on grounding right now, just the block. I will say something about procrastination, just so that you feel a little bit better about procrastinating. What procrastinating is when you get overloaded on pain pictures. Excuse me, and you can't clear them fast enough. And so then when you start having to deal with more pain pictures, you get to a place where you're overwhelmed and you just can't deal with it. And that's really what procrastination is. It's not that you're a bad person. It's not that you're a loser. It's that you're on overload with pain pictures and you can't process them fast enough. So right now, what I'm doing with everybody in the sanctuary is going in and clearing a chunk of pain pictures. Okay, I got the energy moving that was stuck there. So, like I was saying earlier, tonight, all of you will probably still be working on the healings from this class, and it'll just give you a little bit more time. You get out of the body, you can clear your energy a lot faster. So I suspect that you will still all be working to clear the energy of your procrastination tonight on the astral. I'm going to go ahead and fill you in with gold. Good. That looks good. Okay, I've got one here. I take 20 milligrams of Lexapro. Last week I started to half it gradually. Will 20 milligrams be enough for my brain to help anxiety and depression, which is much better because of your classes? Let me take a look at that. Well, as you know, I'm not a doctor. I'm just looking at the energy, and the energy looks a little short. Excuse me. Like that 20 doesn't really look like it's going to be enough. And of course, you're just asking me to look energetically. Like I said, I'm not a doctor, but it looks like it's not really quite enough to keep you where you want to be. I'm going to give you a healing. Okay. I cleared a lot of energy, kind of unconscious energy. That's what it was, out of your space that was not making that was making you feel not good and sort of adding to anxiety, not really depression, but anxiety. And I cleared that out, and I'm going to fill you in with the big gold sun. Right. Okay, there you go. Thank you for asking that. Um, since that was on to help anxiety and depression, I think I'm going to do a healing for everybody on anxiety and depression. They're so common. And let me just clear that space for everyone. That was a good request. Lots of big chunks of foreign energy in this particular space. There's lots and lots of stuck energy. So I'm just going to be grounding and clearing for a minute here. Good. It's actually clearing very nicely, and a light yellow, or I should say yellow light, is coming into that space. And I'm actually kind of surprised at how it's opening up pretty quickly because there was a lot of stuck energy in there. Oh, that looks so much better. It lightened up. It's a uh, light blue and green right now. I'm going to fill you all in with gold. And nope, I have one more. Please give my workspace a healing. I have a big company meeting coming up that I'm responsible for a lot of logistics planning, a lot of moving pieces. Please give a healing so all the planning goes smoothly and I shine. Okay. Well, your mock-up for everything to go well is pretty good. It's like a peachy gold with a little bit of pink, and there's just a little bit of nervousness or fear in there that I need to clear. That looks really good. And I want to compliment you on the space that you hold at your job. You're doing a really good job of like keeping that space grounded because I can see that you manage a lot. So good job. I'm going to fill you in with gold, and then I'm going to give everybody a healing on their work. Is that okay? When I look at everybody's workspace, the first energy that really hits me is the energy of, I'll call it control energy from bosses. And it's a dark midnight blue. I'm going to clear that. because you know how I love to bag on bosses. If you've ever wondered why I like to bag on bosses so much, it's because I've had some really bad bosses in my life. Early on in my work career, I had some really nasty bosses. So they're always like my punching bag when it comes to energy. And then as I clear the boss energy, you know what's behind it? Punishment. So there's a whole thick layer of white punishment coming out too. Now I know everybody's boss isn't terrible. They're not all punishers, but as a group, I'm finding a lot of punishment in your space from bosses. Good. All right. We got rid of some yucky boss energy. That makes me very happy. All right. I'm going to fill you in with gold. And I think I've covered everything. Let me just double check. I don't want to miss anyone. Yes, I have. So we have completed a seek and you will find. I want to fill everybody in with another gold sun. All right. May it be with the blessing of divinity that the seek and you will find be complete. Amen. Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining me tonight. Let me take a look at the calendar and tell you what the next event is coming up. Let's see. It's this week. It's Thursday. We have a 20-minute meditation on time. So I look forward to seeing you for that. And we will explore time and do a quick meditation on it. All right. I have my eyes on you. Thanks for joining me tonight. Have a lovely evening. Bye-bye.